Hello guys and welcome to a brand new building series with me, Lemon Slice. This is going to be something really fun and something I haven't done before. You can see we're in creative here in Minecraft, and this is going to be a super relaxing, awesome building series to do together. Now you're probably wondering what I'm talking about. Well, here in this beautiful world, we're going to be building a beautiful Victorian style city, and I'm going to get into that a little bit more, but I need your advice from the comments. This is going to be a fun series to do along with the fans. You guys are going to help me out in the comments, and I cannot wait to get started. Now when I say Victorian, please understand that I don't know my history super well and my architecture amazingly well, guys, so it's not going to be perfect Victorian style, so don't come at me in the comments if it's not exactly what you think Victorian is. As you can see here, here's some examples of proper Victorian houses, but what I want to do is go for more gothic and fantasy vibes along with the Victorian, more like these pictures. So hopefully you understand, hopefully you can be lenient with me as we try to build some really fun environments and builds here. Well, let's get to it, and you can probably tell I'm using a different shader pack here. I'm using the BSL with a few adjustments. Let me know what you think of this shader pack here. Hopefully it looks good and we can keep using it. If you don't think so, we can always switch to something else, but this is what we're going to do here, and this is the pre-selected area I have here. Now it's not that big. I'm definitely gonna have to expand it way far back into this area, like way more. So I think the plan to start out right now is to just clear out a bunch of these trees and stuff, get it all cleared out so we can have a good, starting point. Now my goal with this series is not only to make a nice, awesome build along with you guys, but it's also to help you learn how to build a little bit better by watching me firsthand with what I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this section and I'm going to fly, well, way over here somewhere, probably deep way back into here. Maybe this whole biome can go, and I'm using the traverse mod because I really like the biomes from this mod. And we'll just position 2 right here, and we will replace the oak log, whoopsies, we'll replace the oak logs with air. And what this will do is, because my tick speed is up super high, it'll basically have all the leaves disintegrate into the air, and we will have this nice huge area to work with. And you can see my render distance is low. That is because I really want to make sure I can, keep good frame rate with the shaders on. We're also going to replace the water and some of the flowers with air and grass. And there we have it, a much bigger area to work with, a huge, beautiful landscape to have here. And basically, guys, this is going to be so fun. We're going to start our first build with a town hall / capitol building type of thing here, and I can't wait to get started. First thing we need to do, guys, because I really want to knock this style out of the park, is I really want to get our build palette started. And like I said, guys, please don't hold me too accountable for Victorian style. I really want to have some fun here and incorporate my love for fantasy and gothic styles as well. So we're going to start off with the colors of stone that we want to use. So I definitely want to use some andesite in here. All of our variations of stone, from stone to cobblestone and to stone bricks. The lodestone somewhere in the middle, that's a really nice decorative block that I love to use. And then some of the new 1.17 blocks, some deep slate and some tough. This is all really good scale of gray stone colors. Now I really want to get into just a few darker ones as well for maybe roofs or other things like that. Blackstone bricks, blackstone, and the block of netherite are the 3 that I chose for that. From our light stone all the way to our dark, we have our stone palette laid out. We can use this for all of our solid structures of buildings, and then these darker ones for our roofs and some other details. This should be a really good palette to start from. Now the next thing that comes to mind is brick or copper or those types of colors, those orangey colors, those industrial colors. So I want to get some of those laid out in our next row of block palette. Starting out, I have a weird one, and it is the dripstone block, but it does go kind of well with some other blocks, and I'm hoping I can incorporate it into some of the builds here in this series. I think it would be awesome. I also want to do the granite, so we have the polished and the normal granite, and if you're going to have these, you got to have bricks mixed in with it. So there we go, a couple of colors right there. But I want to keep going. I think we got to have the copper in there, and that means both versions of the copper. These 2 are just gorgeous. And finally, the acacia. I really want to have acacia for some different details. Hopefully we can use that in a cool way. So now we have some of these types of blocks, these stone and copper, the orangey colors, and we also have our stone foundation blocks as well. We obviously need some wood in this build palette as well. So here we go. We're going to toss some wood in here, some dark oak, and then some stripped spruce, and then some normal spruce planks as well. I'm actually going to put nether brick at the end here as well, because I think that could also be incorporated really well into this style. I really want to use some normal nether brick because that is a block I don't really build with that much. I almost forgot about our white colors as well. So we'll do diorite, calcite, and quartz as our gradient for that, and that is just beautiful. Hopefully we can use those also. Now this one will seem weird at first, but terracotta, jungle planks, and stripped jungle wood. This is something I used to build a Victorian house, and that I see a lot of people use for Victorian style builds. This little palette right here, and I want to kind of try and incorporate this and also expand it a little bit. Using some stripped birch planks, and smooth sandstone, we're going to expand it all the way out to almost our white color, so we can incorporate all of these in different places of our build as well. And honestly, I'm really happy with where we're starting here. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more blocks we're going to use. There's going to be leaves and all of our types of decoration blocks, fences, walls, glass, all sorts of stuff like that, guys. But I wanted to lay out our base colors here so that you guys could see what I'm thinking about using. And obviously, this isn't everything, like I said, but the next thing I want to do, guys, is start to lay out our city, at least what my idea is so far. I'm sure it'll change as we go, but let's get some concrete out and let's try and lay out on the ground our city format. So the first thing I'm going to lay out here is going to be the Capitol building, or the town hall thing. So let's get that laid out here. I think that's a good size for the front. That's a good size for the central part of the building, and I obviously want to have a big dome on top of it, so let's toss a circle here in the very middle. Something like that should be fine. And now it's time to put on 2 wings on either side, because it's going to be a pretty large building. That's one side done, and I'm just going to copy and paste one side over to the other using the flip command, and I'll show you guys how to do that just in case you don't know. So I'll stand in the very center here, and I will do / copy / flip to the right. Oops, spelled right wrong. And then I will paste it in, and that should give us a perfect replica of that on the other side. And the town hall for now is done. And you have to remember, guys, it's not gonna stay this exact scale or perfect to these dimensions. This is just a rough layout of the buildings that I want to make in this world. And also, I definitely want to have this up on a slight mountain, maybe up to here. It's definitely going to be higher than the rest of the builds, and they're going to come down a little bit. So yeah, we have to uprise this one just a little bit when we get to it. But now I'm going to turn over here, and we're going to work on some, buildings that would be in the main street area about right here. There's the first 2 buildings, and then on the very end of this, I want to put a tower of some kind. So let's try and lay out the dimensions for that. 5 by 2 should be good size. Is that? I think this is the right size I want to go for this. It's going to be basically a tower on the corner right before this street turns, kind of. So that's going to be the tower, and the street is going to turn down there. So let's put in another set of buildings on this side now. I left a little gap in between these 2, and then I copied this one over to the other side so that we can have a nice street of buildings right here, and then have the street continue this way, where I had to, flatten out the ground a little bit. We'll make it all look pretty in the end, but down this road is what I'm really excited about. In this huge area, we are going to have an absolutely beautiful, monstrous Victorian Gothic fantasy style cathedral. This is the build I'm super excited about. And well, I'm not sure how big I want it or how I'm supposed to lay this out, so I'm basically going to lay out a big rectangle and most likely come back to it when we're actually ready to start this project. I know it might look ridiculous, but this is the size I'm going to go for, and it's not going to be exactly this. I'm sure we'll figure it out as we go. I know I want it to be a big square with a bunch of spiky towers, and then we're going to have some pieces coming off to the side, and then a huge, beautiful tower in the very middle. But I also want to have a few crypts over here, as this is going to get a little bit spooky, because over here I want to have a form of a graveyard with crypts and some other stuff. So let me put this in over here. Rough graveyard area in, and the church and the crypt area is also in. And I don't know how this is going to squeeze in. Also, there's going to be mountains here and stuff. It's going to be all up in the air, but I think this is a good layout for this little spookier, darker area. And I want to turn my attention back over to this side, where I want to do something similar on the other side, but extend it more. So I decided to do this one in the form of the replay mod, and what you see right there, the huge circle in the middle, is either going to be a fountain or a statue in the very center of the town. I can't decide yet. And then I went and I put some more buildings on that left side. These towers you see me making right here are going to be hopefully clock towers or just very large towers of some kind. I add in a couple more towers here and there. I refine the edge of this building, and then I start building on these houses on this outer edge. I'm not too sure what I want them to look like, so I put some really interesting, unique designs in there, and we just went a little crazy. They might change as we go, guys. Just remember that. And then at the very end here, I threw in what I want to be a train station. I'm honestly really happy with what we've made here. It's a start, and all of this, it's not going to be super flat like you see here, guys. Like I said, there's going to be mountains and all sorts of stuff going on, but hopefully this gives you somewhat of a better idea of what I'm trying to build here. And this just makes me even more excited, guys, because I can't wait to get this going, and the town hall will probably be the first thing that we tackle. I think that's probably a good place to start. Although we're not going to do that in today's episode, unfortunately, but what I want to do is lay out a little block palette for some other miscellaneous things, like terraforming. Here's some different types of blocks that I want to use when terraforming these mountains and things. This is a weird array of things that I just want to start using more in my terraforming. Maybe I'll set up a little example for you to see. Something a little bit like this is what we're probably going to have the terraforming look like, and hopefully I can pull this off on a large scale. And thank you to some of the people on Society of Creation, the SMP I play on, for the idea to use some of these blocks. I really like this combination, and I hope that it turns out looking good in the long run. Finally, guys, obviously we are going to have roads in this area, so here's some of the blocks that I want to use for the roads. Something like this, but then on the edges we're going to have gutters made of these andesite stairs, and then slabs of stone and andesite for maybe sidewalks or other parts of the build. And once again, I'll do just a quick example right over here. This should give you a good idea of the way I want the roads to look, something like this. And then if we want to add a sidewalk into it, we'll just add, you know, a little bit of a sidewalk over here, and we'll just have to make it maybe too wide or something would fit it nice, and we'll randomize these blocks in here to make it look nice and pretty, guys. There we go. This is really coming together. I think this idea should work out super well. Obviously not all our paths are wide enough for this. We'll have to make it work as we go, but here is our block palette idea, and I think it should work out really well in the long run. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed the first episode of this Victorian build series. I'm gonna call it Victorian, whether it's perfectly accurate to Victorian or not, guys. You're gonna have to just deal with it. So thank you. If you watched all the way to the end, leave a like on the video, and if you aren't subscribed and you made it to the end of the video, that probably means you should. And if you guys don't have post notifications on, go ahead and do that also. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Keep an eye out for the next one, and I'll see you then.